Okay, so as previous videos you have heard, the first generation vibra 16 that was fitted to this unit, which is showing up as Sound Blaster 16. Essentially the first generation of vibra was an exact or fairly one single chip clone of the Sound Blaster 16 with an external YMF chip, which gives it basically its, in my opinion, its best compatibility, and it steps away from the emulated versions of the YMF chip. And if you can't get an original, like second generation Sound Blaster 16 or a Sound Blaster Pro first generation, your best option is to go for a vibra with a YMF chip. They lack a couple of features, which is bass adjustment and treble adjustment, but they still do pretty much everything as they should. So the sound card that's fitted at the moment is obviously the same, and it's had a slight alteration, which we'll listen to in a second. So this is how it was as stock, which you can hear pretty much the same sort of sound. Okay, so that's enough of that. Yeah, that's same the music that it was producing the other day when I produced my last video. So this time round, if we go to change our music card and we choose General MIDI, because it has a wavetable header now, 330, and then we try to do it, listen what that does. So that's pretty fucking cool. So basically what this is using is a Dreamblaster S2 that's fitted to the wavetable header that basically makes the sound card think that it's a wave blaster, which is a MIDI expansion for a lot of different sound cards. So I've got a few different games installed that are using the same system basically, so they're all set up to the same effect. So let's see what Doom sounds like. So if we just type Doom, because I've got a launch batch system set up, so I can just type Doom and it runs. I might actually do a couple of tutorials on how to set this sort of stuff up. I'll do Knee Deep in the Dead, I think. So, for those of you who probably know your Doom, it shouldn't sound like that. It should sound a little different. It's a bit more square and a bit more cut. The wavetable header basically adds a set of instruments to the sound card and makes it play from a different and better library of instruments, allowing the sounds to sound like they're stepping up from like 8-bit to 16-bit for argument's sake, although that's not exactly the case. They just sound a lot better. So this is now the 486 pc-450 VL by Elonex. That is pretty much tuned to the nuts all done and dusted, ready for me to actually start tinkering with and get some games on and stuff like that. So I'll probably actually set through and do a couple of tutorials on how to DOS properly, which will be setting up your sound cards, setting up your auto exit and your config sys, how to get the most out of your base memory, how to set up drivers, get your CD-ROMs running, you know, all that sort of good stuff. So start from scratch, install your DOS, get yourself up and running, and then the advanced stuff of and even some basic handy stuffs like setting up a launch directory so you can have games launch from a single command, and how to add and enter your own shortcut commands to make life a little bit easier. For instance, just as an example, if I now just type games for argument's sake, I've got a command that will list my games directory and dump me in the games directory. So that's one example of, you know, it's handy little tricks like that to know. So peace out, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and keep those retro units alive.